Hey everybody, how's it going? This video is about power weapons and power fists. Now, this is a video for Space Marines. I'm gearing it towards Space Marines. I know other armies can take power weapon or power fist for equivalents, and you could probably take what I'm saying, bits and pieces of what I'm saying here, and apply it if you want to. But I'm gearing this towards Space Marines. I'm a Dark Angel player, first and foremost, so I'm gearing it towards Space Marines, knowing that they're not exactly equipped the same way as Dark Angels are in certain squads, but the weapons work the same here in this instance, so that's what I'm gearing it towards. So if you're wondering, hey, why aren't you saying this or that other things, because I'm only talking about a particular type of army, which is the Space Marines. Now, like, granted, that covers Chaos, Black Templars, Generic, Space Wolves, Blood Angels, and Dark Angels, but that's all I'm focusing on. So, power weapons and power fists. Pretty much any Space Marine squad can take either of these as an upgrade. Not all Space Marine squads can take Lightning Claws or Thunderhammers. In fact, I know personally in the Dark Angels Codex, aside from not counting special character, the Company Master and Company Veteran squads can take Thunderhammers, and that's it. In fact, I think they're the only squads that can take Lightning Claws as well. Nothing else can do that, not even the command squads for Dark Angels. So I don't think the FAQ has changed that either. So power fists and power weapons are widespread. Devastators, Assault Marines, Tactical Squads, Company, Veterans, Command Squads, all that stuff can take one of those. Same thing with the rest of the other codices out there that are Space Marines. So let's look at them. A power weapon gives you the ability to ignore armor, just like a power fist does. It goes at your initiative, and so if you have grenades and charging the cover, you still go at your initiative. It also synergizes with pistols and other close combat weapons that are not power fists on the hammer, the Lightning Claws. So close combat weapon, power weapon, and pistols it synergizes with, meaning it gives you +1 attack. So if you're a sergeant with 2 attacks base, and you have a pistol and a power weapon, you have +1 attack, so that's 3 attacks before you charge. If you charge, that's 4 attacks. If we want to look at, I guess, negatives for the power weapon is it goes at your strength. It does not modify your strength at all. I'm not talking about relic blades or anything like that. I'm just talking about power weapon. So that's the power weapon. Power fist. Power fist ignores armor because it's also a power weapon, and it doubles your base strength. So if you're strength 4, you become strength 8. Now, if you have Furious Charge or anything that adds to your strength, you do that after you double your strength. So 4 becomes 8, then +1 for Furious Charge. Negatives, it goes at initiative of 1, and it does not synergize with anything but itself. So you need 2 power fists to get the +1 attack. And points wise, power weapon is cheaper than power fist. So with that being said, it may sound like one is clearly better than the other, depending on your point of view. And I personally find that that's not necessarily the case. It used to be, I would say, back in the previous edition, power fists were everywhere. It used to synergize, it doesn't do that anymore. I would say power fists are kind of still there in the forefront a bit because of how popular mechanized is, but we're going to be talking about that. So, when it comes to independent characters, I'm more dead set on my opinion on what I do personally, and that is I do not like putting Initiative 1 weaponry on my HQs, my independent characters, for the Space Marines. Their initiative is higher than standard Space Marines. I like to utilize that to my advantage. Now, special characters are different. They come a certain way, and I'm fine with special characters with Initiative 1 weaponry. They have other stuff that they bring to the table on top of it, so that's fine. And if I'm making an independent character specifically to hunt things like monsters, creatures, and tanks, then I will look at the Thunderhammer or the Power Fist or whatever. But I rarely do that with my independent character unless I'm making a guy that looks cool, just to have. So really, I like giving them just the power weapon. Maybe Lightning Claws really is a power weapon. I'll talk about Lightning Claws and Thunder Hammers in their own video in the future. But I like power weapons on my independent characters. I go at my initiative. They have a decent number of attacks, so even if you do give an initiative one weapon, they'll have a decent number of attacks, especially on the charge, getting +1 for charging. But Company Master is base 3, so if you had a Power Fist, you on a charge you have 4 powerful attacks, which is nice. But with the power weapon, he has 3. Now I give him something to synergize with that, like a pistol, which he has already. So that gives him 4 attacks before the charge. On the charge, he has 5 attacks. I like that. It goes at his initiative. He can really cut through some just basic infantry, and that's what I want him to do primarily. I also he keeps him cheap. Cheaper than if I gave him a Power Fist and things of that nature. So that's what I like to do with my independent characters. Now when it comes to squad upgrades, like for a sergeant, I'm of mixed opinion. I don't quite know what to do. And that's because I think it depends on what you're going to do with that particular squad and what squad it is. Now, for example, a Devastator squad, I personally would never give a Power Fist to. I probably wouldn't even give him a power weapon. But if I had the points, I would give him a power weapon at the very least. I don't know. I don't foresee ever really having my Devastator squads having to charge something. And I find Power Fist a little bit too expensive to have as a charge deterrent. I'd rather them shoot. And if I'm down to the fact where my Devastators need to charge to affect the game, I've probably done something wrong by then. Unless, of course, the enemy is some clever deep striking or infiltrating for outflanking or whatever. But in general, it's usually I do something wrong and I need to charge my Devastator squads. So I would give a power weapon at most, and all but the most rare cases, to my Devastator squads. To tactical squads, it's a mixed. It's up in the air. It's mixed because if I'm utilizing that, If I'm utilizing that squad to tank hunt a lot, then I'll probably give him a Power Fist only because crowd grenades or melt the bomb, while great, especially melt the bomb, you get 1 die to roll for that sergeant. And if this tank hasn't moved or if I mobilize it, that's great, auto hit, awesome. Melt the bomb's probably going to do its job. But if I have to roll, I have a 50-50 chance, unless the tank is moved over a certain amount of inches. I believe it's 6. So if the tank is moved over 6, I need 6s to hit. So 6 to 1 inch, I need force hit. 50-50 shot, basically, of making it with the melted bomb. Not the worst odds, but if it moved over 6, I need 6s. So I'd rather have the Power Fist. Since I gotta roll 6s regardless of which one I use, I'd rather have the extra attacks. Now, that being said, for the squads that have power weapons, if I have the points, and I usually do because melted bombs are pretty cheap, I give melted bombs to those squads. In the event I'm in a position where I can assault a vehicle, it gives me extra edge with that squad that has no Power Fist. But I only give Power Fist to tactical squads that are going to be out there as part of my anti-tank, anti-monsters creature plan. Usually that squad has a melted gun as well, and that's it in that squad. So that's how I do it with tactical squads. It really depends on how I'm utilizing that squad. Assault squads, a little different. That depends also, I guess, if I'm going to be jumping in to hunt tanks. Dark Eagles don't have a choice. The only thing I can take is weapon upgrade is plasma pistols, so which are great to jump to a side or rear armor to hopefully pen it. Power Fist works a little bit better in that setup. But if you're going to be utilizing him to cut through just standard infantry, a power weapon is a little bit cheaper. You can give him a melted bomb on top of that power weapon. It's a little bit cheaper than taking a Power Fist upgrade, usually. So you can get away with doing that. Now, assault marine squads, and pretty much most any other codex but Dark Angels also has access to other close combat weapons like Lightning Claws or Thunder Hammers and things like that. So if you're wondering, well, I like to take Lightning Claws and Thunder Hammers, that's fine. I'm just saying between Power Weapon and Power Fist, you have to weigh it out. If you're going to be utilizing that squad, the Assault Marine squad, to close distance rapidly and deal with light vehicles as well as infantry, and you want to do both, then the Power Fist is going to be what you want to take, but for a point cost. Now with elites like Company Veteran squads or Dark Angels, Vanguard or Stern Guard for everybody else, and I guess Wolf Guard. Again, it depends. Vanguard get very expensive very quickly. I wouldn't recommend everybody taking a power fist or a power weapon or things like that, but definitely something to consider what you're going to be doing with that squad. I find those squads usually go after infantry or elite infantry, in which case power weapon is probably a little bit better. It keeps the squad cost down, and since the squad costs high enough as it is, that's one way to do it. Now at Stern Guard, I like giving them power fists because they got their bolters. That's what they're utilizing. The power fist is just an extra deterrent, really, and in a pinch they can assault something because they are veterans, and the power fist is a lens to that. Now, unless I'm strapped for points, then I like the idea of a power weapon. I like the idea of my veterans having a way to ignore armor in close combat. It just makes them that much more dangerous, and it keeps the opponent from just throwing squad after squad at them because they can tie them up. If I have the ability to cut down that squad quicker, then chances are not going to be as ready to throw their squads into it, provided my squad lives, of course. So that's pretty much it for that. That's my view. Again, I don't really know the best way to equip sergeants aside from Devastator squads with weapons, because I'm always up in the air about it. I'm always wondering, second guessing. But power weapons do well if you're more worried about vehicles and monsters, creatures, or stuff like that. The Power Fist will give you an added security blanket provided you're okay with going at Initiative 1. I don't like doing that with independent characters because since they are independent characters in close combat, if people are touching them in base contact, or in base contact with them, they have the option to direct their attacks at him instead of somebody else they're in base contact with. So they could single him out and overwhelm him before he goes. And if he goes at initiative, there's a less chance of that happening unless he's assaulting Eldar or assaulted by Eldar or whatever. So, in closing, I want to say, I know a generic Space Marine Codex, I'm pretty sure with Blood Angels and things like that, you can take combi weapons with your sergeants for like tactical squads. So, I find that's a good option. I find if you're gonna go Power Fist, take a combi weapon, take a combi Melta, or even a combi Flamer. One of the two. Combi Plasma, not so much. I find those better. I like Combi Plasma, I just think it's not the best thing to give your sergeant with a Power Fist in the event you overheat. But if you want to take that risk, that can also help you. It gives you a little more variety. Do I want to double tap into a vehicle or double tap into a squad? Now, if you want to charge, I suggest Combi Melta or Combi Flamer because the Melta and the Flamer are assault. If you just want to shoot a lot and you're going to receive a charge, then the Combi Plasma is a good idea as well. But if you're going to take a Power Fist, I suggest a combi weapon if you have the ability to do so. Yeah, it makes your sergeant a little bit more pricey, but since the Power Fist isn't synergizing with anything else, a combi weapon gives them the ability to pop that tank in shooting, or to kill off something from that squad, or to hurt it a lot, or to really lighten up the horde that's trying to assault you, that you're going to try and counter assault. And if you combine that with the fact that a flame in that squad as well, that's 2 templates going off in the squad. That's always nice. So anyways, that's my little rambling on Power Fist and Power Weapon, my views on them. They're both great and they both have their uses. And that's pretty much it. So until next time, take it easy.